Blue Origin has confirmed an unexpected setback. The New Glenn booster was accidentally damaged during transport, forcing engineers to pause testing just weeks before a critical milestone. The incident exposes deeper issues inside Jeff Bezos' space company and raises a tough question. Can Blue Origin still compete with SpaceX, or is the gap now too wide to close? Let's dive right in. The first reports came quietly. A few internal notes, whispers on aerospace forums, but soon the truth surfaced. Blue Origin's massive New Glenn booster had been damaged during transport. For most companies, that might sound like an unfortunate accident. For Blue Origin, it's something far more serious, a symbol of deeper trouble within Jeff Bezos' space empire. According to multiple sources, the incident occurred while the upper stage was being moved to a testing site near Cape Canaveral. Engineers later discovered stress marks on the structural panels and inconsistencies in internal wiring. It wasn't catastrophic, but it was enough to halt the upcoming static fire test, a key step before the rocket's second launch. And in rocketry, even small mistakes carry big consequences. A single vibration, an uneven lift, or a misplaced clamp can distort critical components. With a vehicle standing 98 meters tall and built to handle millions of pounds of thrust, precision isn't optional, it's survival. Yet this isn't the first time Blue Origin has faced such an issue. In 2024, another New Glenn upper stage was damaged during storage transfer. That one had to be scrapped and rebuilt entirely, costing months of work and millions in delays. Two similar incidents in 2 years raise a difficult question. How could this keep happening inside a company with one of the world's best-funded space programs? The answer might not lie in the technology, but in the culture. While SpaceX thrives on rapid iteration, build, test, fail, fix, Blue Origin moves cautiously, shaped by layers of management and approval. It's a system designed for perfection on paper, but in practice it slows everything down. Every step takes longer. Every risk is overanalyzed, and by the time decisions are made, SpaceX has already flown another rocket. When both companies began, the world expected Blue Origin to lead. Founded in 2000, 2 years before SpaceX, Bezos' company had a head start, more money and the same dream: reusable rockets that could lower costs and expand human presence beyond Earth. But over 2 decades later, SpaceX has redefined spaceflight, while Blue Origin is still trying to prove it can reach orbit reliably. The New Glenn rocket was supposed to change that story. Towering 98 meters tall, powered by 7 BE-4 engines, it was built to rival the Falcon Heavy in payload capacity and efficiency. Each BE-4 produces over 550,000 pounds of thrust. Together, they create one of the most powerful rocket systems on Earth. On paper, it's everything a next-generation rocket should be. In reality, it's still a promise waiting to be fulfilled. New Glenn's first orbital flight in early 2025 was a major milestone. But since then, the project has stalled. The second launch, originally expected in mid-year, keeps slipping further away. Now, after the transport damage, even the next test date is uncertain. That's more than just a delay, it's a credibility problem. Government agencies like NASA and the U.S. Space Force have been watching closely, since Blue Origin's engines also power ULA's Vulcan rocket. When BE-4 engines are delayed, it doesn't just slow Blue Origin, it affects national programs. For a company that once aimed to be the United States' technological pride, repeated setbacks like this hit especially hard, and comparisons with SpaceX make things worse. Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy boosters are moved constantly, from factory to pad, from pad to refurbishment sites. Yet serious transport damage is virtually unheard of. That contrast leads to uncomfortable questions. Is Blue Origin's engineering process too fragile? Or has the company been rushing to appear ready before it truly is? Some insiders quietly suggest the latter. With growing pressure from contracts, investors, and public expectation, Blue Origin may be pushing progress faster than its internal systems can support. If that's true, this accident might not just be bad luck. It's the inevitable result of a company trying to catch up without changing how it works. To understand the scale of this challenge, Consider the resources behind Blue Origin. The company owns one of the largest rocket factories in the world, over 750,000 square feet of advanced manufacturing near Florida's Space Coast. It employs thousands of engineers and has access to nearly unlimited funding through Bezos's fortune. By comparison, SpaceX achieved orbital success years earlier with a fraction of those resources. That's the paradox of Blue Origin. Endless potential, but constant delay. It's not that their engineers lack skill. The BE-4 engine is a marvel of methane-based propulsion, capable of remarkable thrust efficiency. But when progress is slowed by layers of approval, internal politics, and a fear of failure, innovation suffocates. Elon Musk has said repeatedly that SpaceX's success comes from failing fast and learning faster. In contrast, Jeff Bezos built Blue Origin to avoid failure altogether. Ironically, that approach may be the reason Blue Origin keeps failing in the real world. Not in flight, but in execution. The numbers tell the story clearly. By 2024, SpaceX had launched over 90 missions in a single year. It had landed and reused boosters more than 250 times. Blue Origin, despite being founded earlier, managed only one orbital flight. The gap isn't just about performance, it's about philosophy. Inside Blue Origin, some engineers admit that morale has suffered. Many talented staff quietly moved to competitors, drawn by SpaceX's faster, more impactful work culture. It's hard to innovate when every decision takes 6 meetings, one former employee said anonymously. Even so, Blue Origin isn't out of the game. Far from it. The company is too well-funded and too strategically important to vanish. Its engines power government rockets. Its Kuiper satellite network supports Amazon's global infrastructure, and its partnership in NASA's Artemis lunar lander keeps it embedded in future exploration plans. But surviving isn't the same as winning. If Blue Origin truly wants to compete with SpaceX, it must change, not in ambition, but in attitude. The damage to New Glen's booster is a physical reminder of what happens when a company tries to move forward with old habits. A $2 billion rocket, halted by a logistical error, tells a story of potential wasted by process. As of now, engineers are inspecting the damage section using high-resolution scans and laser metrology. If the issue is limited to surface strain, repairs might take a few months. But if deeper structural warping is found, the upper stage may have to be replaced, meaning another 6-month delay, possibly pushing the next flight into mid-2026. By that time, SpaceX will likely have completed multiple Starship cargo missions and possibly its first crewed lunar test flight. That would shift the balance of the global space race even further, leaving Blue Origin fighting for relevance. Still, there's a deeper truth hiding in all of this. Blue Origin isn't just building rockets. It's trying to rebuild trust. Trust with engineers who want to innovate, trust with partners who expect delivery, and trust with the public who still believe Jeff Bezos' vision of a future where millions of people live and work in space. The transport damage is more than a technical setback, it's a test of identity. Can Blue Origin finally move past its image as a slow, cautious follower and become a company that delivers on its massive promises? Because if it can't, history won't remember the size of the rocket or the power of its engines. It will remember the irony that a company built to open the road to space kept tripping before ever leaving the ground. And for Blue Origin, that's the story it cannot afford to repeat. And that's the truth behind Blue Origin's latest setback. Not just a damaged booster, but a clear warning for the company's future. This is exactly why SpaceX keeps leading the race. Speed, discipline, and relentless execution. What this means is simple. If Blue Origin can't adapt its mindset, its dream of competing among the stars will remain grounded. Still, this failure could be the moment that forces real change. Engineers are already working on repairs, and the next New Glenn test could decide whether Blue Origin rises again or fades into history. The outcome will shape not only the company's legacy, but the future of American spaceflight itself. So what's your take? Can Blue Origin close the gap with SpaceX, or is it already too late? Share your thoughts in the comments, and we'd love to hear from you. This is Space Hub, where we uncover the real stories driving the space race. If you found this analysis valuable, Like this video, subscribe to Space Hub, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update on the future of space exploration.